The light filtered in through 12-foot windows, gold and sterile. It caught the surface of the marble counters like it was refracting through ice. Ira stood barefoot in the kitchen, stirring eggs with one hand and pouring warm milk into the twin sippy cups with the other. She hadn't brushed her hair yet. Her robe was cinched too tightly over pajamas that didn't match. Still, her face had that soft, hushed fatigue only a mother of 4-year-olds could wear, blurred around the edges, like a page read too many times. "Eli," she said without raising her voice, "get your feet off the table." Her son grinned over a piece of toast bigger than his face. His twin sister, Amelia, was humming to herself and peeling a banana like it was a delicate scientific procedure. Neither of them seemed to notice how quiet the house was, how empty. The clock read 7:26 a.m. Kian would be down any minute. Or not. She moved through the space with the quiet choreography of someone who had done this 1,000 mornings before. Eggs onto plates, toast sliced diagonally, napkins folded, juice poured. The help didn't arrive until 9. By then, she liked to have the twins fed, changed, and ready. She didn't like people seeing her half undone. Her own plate sat untouched. She glanced at it once, then looked away. Her hand passed over Kian's espresso machine without touching it. She used to make his coffee every morning. Now, he had a stainless steel machine with 5 custom settings and didn't like anyone else touching it. Just then, Eli dropped a spoon onto the floor with a loud clang. "Oops," he shouted, laughing. "5-second rule," Amelia whispered, already reaching for it. Era bent down and picked up the spoon, rubbing it under hot water longer than necessary. When she straightened up, her eyes drifted toward the hallway, expecting to hear the sound of Kian's steps, the familiar shift of his leather shoes on wood. Nothing. She glanced at her reflection in the microwave door. Dark circles under her eyes, lips slightly chapped, a faint burn on her collarbone from the curling iron she'd given up on. She'd tried once, a little mascara, a tight dress, a planned night out, but Kian had rescheduled for a late client meeting. That had been 4 months ago. Her gaze fell to the clock again, 7:41. She turned back toward the eggs, and a smell hit her, sweetness and salt, butter melting on syrup-drizzled waffles. Her breath caught. The memory hit her fast and uninvited. 3 years ago, she was still breastfeeding when she burned the waffles. Smoke was rising from the pan, and she was about to cry when Kian came in. "Are you trying to assassinate me with char?" She threw a spatula at him. He caught it with one hand and swept her off her feet with the other, lifting her off the floor. She shrieked and laughed and hit his shoulder. "You smell like syrup and soap," she mumbled into his neck. "I smell like a husband with 5 hours of sleep and twins who think night is optional," he murmured. "But I'll always make time to kiss the woman who made me a dad." He kissed her then, long, slow, like they had nowhere to be. She remembered how he looked at her, like she was some beautiful, holy accident. Ira blinked. The smell was gone. She was back in the kitchen, holding a towel too tightly in one hand, the other trembling just slightly. No footsteps, no leather shoes, no husband. She glanced at her phone. A single text, Kian. "Early call, won't be down, see you tonight, X." She read it twice, then deleted it. The polished floor of the upper-level executive wing glinted like a mirror, reflecting the sharp heel clicks of staff moving quickly but quietly, like they were afraid to be noticed. At the far end, behind a smoked glass door etched with the company name in chrome script, Lancer Global, Kian sat at his desk in a navy suit that looked custom-made because it was. His tie was slightly loosened, sleeves rolled just enough to show a Rolex and forearm veins, as if the casualness was accidental. It wasn't. He leaned back, phone pressed to his ear. The view behind him showed the full sprawl of Virelia City, towers of glass and LED. "Tell marketing to pull back on the second teaser," he said, voice low and flat. "If the servers can't hold the traffic spike, we're not just losing users, we're inviting humiliation." A light knock on the glass. Celine stepped in. She didn't wait for permission. "Not interrupting, am I?" Her voice was smooth, the tone reserved, but with an undertow of playfulness. She was wearing a storm gray pencil skirt and a silk blouse tucked just loosely enough. Her makeup was clean and sharp. Her hair, a waterfall of chestnut waves, fell over one shoulder with the kind of effortless calculation that didn't exist in nature. Kian glanced up, still on the phone, and gave her a 2-finger wave toward the guest chair. She sat. "Reschedule for Friday," he said, then clicked the phone off. "I brought the Singapore projections," Celine said, setting a black leather folder on the desk. "Also, a peace offering." From the folder, she withdrew a small paper bag and placed it in front of him. He opened it, brows raised. His favorite chocolate-covered almonds. "You remembered. I listen." She leaned forward just a little too far to be formal, her hand resting on the edge of his desk. Close but not touching. She wore a faint perfume, expensive, feminine, distracting. "You seemed stressed," she said, tone low. I thought you deserved something sweet. Kian gave a dry chuckle. You're trying to bribe me? Of course, she said, sitting back, legs crossing with graceful slowness. I want the Chung meeting moved to next week. I have a rooftop event tomorrow night, executives only. Low pressure, just drinks, skyline views, and a very expensive wine list. Kian watched her for a beat too long before answering. I'll think about it. She smiled. That's all I ask. At home, Era stood in front of the full-length mirror in the closet she rarely entered these days. The dress was pale blue with thin straps, fitted at the waist, and long enough to trail slightly behind her. It had dust on the hem. She remembered the last time she wore it, 3 years ago, on their anniversary, when they had gone to that rooftop Italian place, and Kian held her hand through dessert. She had been thinner then, less tired. She curled her hair, applied mascara, a little blush, a soft pink lipstick that was probably expired. Downstairs, she checked on the twins, both asleep. The nanny had gone home. The dining room table was set with quiet hope. Steak reheated, wine uncorked, jazz playing from the speakers at a low volume. She heard the gate open at 9:17 p.m. Her stomach fluttered. Footsteps, door unlocking. Kian stepped in with his phone still in hand. His tie was gone. His shirt sleeves were wrinkled at the elbows. He looked up from his screen. Hey, Era smiled faintly. You're home? He glanced at the table. You made steak? Her voice hesitated. It's the one you like. With rosemary? Shit, I'm sorry. I ate at the office. Celine, some of the execs ordered in. I didn't know. He trailed off. Ira stood in silence. He looked at her properly then. A second passed. You look nice. Thank you. I've got an early one tomorrow. Might need to head back into the office late. There's a client dinner thing. He was already walking past her toward the stairs. She didn't move. The silence clung to her as she sat at the table alone, swirling wine she no longer wanted. Flashback. 8 years ago. The room was tiny. Their first apartment. The kitchen counter doubled as their dining table. Ira was 18, barefoot, sitting on the counter, swinging her legs. Kian held a laptop open on his lap. Her first game design, just a rough prototype, filled the screen. Sprites clunky, sound effects stolen from free libraries. She watched him anxiously as he played. At the end, he looked up at her with a grin like she had handed him a masterpiece. You made this? She blushed. It's buggy. The AI's dumb. I still can't get the tile set to. You're a genius. He stood up, cupped her face, and kissed her with one hand on her cheek and the other on the nape of her neck. I'm gonna build you a whole company one day, he whispered, and you'll run it. He held up the laptop. This is how we're gonna raise our kids? She laughed. What kids? He leaned his forehead against hers. The twins. Girl first, then boy, you'll see. Back to present. In the upstairs bathroom, Era stood at the sink, wiping her makeup off with slow, tired strokes. Her dress was already wrinkled from sitting. In the hallway mirror, she caught a glimpse of herself, and for a second, she didn't recognize the woman looking back. That's when Amelia padded out in her unicorn pajamas, toothbrush in hand. Mommy? Era knelt. Yeah, sweetheart? Why don't you smile like before? Era's breath caught in her throat. She reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind her daughter's ear. I'm just tired, baby. Amelia nodded seriously, as if that explained everything. Era kissed her forehead and watched her shuffle off to bed. Her phone buzzed. Kian, going to be late. Don't wait up. Era stared at the message. Then slowly, quietly, she put the phone face down and turned off the lights. The paper bag was soft in her hands, still warm from the takeout container inside. Kian's favorite, sesame garlic noodles from that little spot near their old apartment. The place he used to swear made the city's best soy fried tofu. Folded neatly beside it, protected in plastic sleeves, were 2 drawings. One from Eli, a stick figure superhero labeled Daddy, and one from Amelia, a crayon heart with all their names written crookedly inside. She hadn't worn perfume in weeks, but tonight she dabbed on the vanilla rose he used to compliment without thinking. She caught her reflection, and the corners of her lips fought to rise. Not for him, she murmured to herself. For you. Just say hi. Just remind him. The nanny gave her a nod as she stepped out. The city air was cold, but not bitter. She drove quietly, fingers curled gently around the wheel, eyes glancing toward the seat beside her where the bag sat, like a peace offering. The streetlight streaked gold across the windshield. At every red light, she checked her makeup in the rear view, then practiced a neutral smile. Just say hi. The lobby of Lancer Global was marble and steel. Too bright even at night. The receptionist looked up from behind his desk and blinked at her. He was young, maybe an intern, but her tone was practiced and soft, the kind that opened doors. Just dropping off dinner for my husband. He's working late. The boy glanced at the security log. Mr. Lane? Era smiled, lifting the bag. He probably forgot to eat again. He nodded quickly and buzzed her through. The elevator hummed up to the top floor. Her reflection multiplied across the mirrored walls. Tired eyes, soft scarf, hopeful expression that felt stolen from a younger version of herself. herself. The doors opened with a ding. The executive floor was mostly dark, lit only by emergency lights and the night skyline bleeding in through glass walls. It felt like walking through a spaceship, sterile, quiet, detached. Then she saw them. Not clearly at first, just two silhouettes, standing close in the glowing rectangle of Kian's office. One leaned slightly forward. The other didn't pull away. She slowed. The door was glass. Not tinted, not hidden, just there. Kian's hands rested lightly on Celine's waist. Her palms framed his jaw. Their mouths met slow and practiced, like this wasn't the first time, like they weren't pretending anymore. Ira didn't drop the bag. Not immediately. Her fingers simply went slack and it slid down her side. The thud against the carpet absurdly gentle. She didn't move. She didn't breathe. She just stood there. 5 feet from the man she married, watching him kiss another woman with the same mouth he used to whisper, "I love you," into her hair. The bag tilted. Ira turned. No sound, no scene, no words, just turned, and walked back to the elevator with steps so soft they didn't even echo. The city outside was neon lit and fast moving, a river of color she couldn't look at. She drove on autopilot, one hand still on the scarf at her throat like it was the only thing keeping her upright. At a red light, she exhaled. That was when it hit her, not gently. A sob, sharp and feral, broke from her chest without warning. It exploded into the car like glass shattering. She pressed one hand over her mouth, shoulders jerking once, violently, then silence. Only the sound of the turn signal. Blinking, blink, blink. Flashback. 5 years ago, she was angry. They had fought, stupidly, about money. He'd raised his voice. She'd locked herself in the bedroom. Hours passed. She found him outside the door, drenched from the rain, holding takeout and whispering through the wood, "I can't eat unless you're with me." When she opened it, his hands were trembling. So were hers.
They sat cross-legged on the floor, sharing spring rolls and apologies. He kept brushing raindrops from her hair, even after they'd dried. Back to present now, she was the one with food in her lap and no one beside her. No rain, no door to knock on, no arms to crawl into. She entered the house quietly. The lights were off. The twins were asleep, curled in their beds like commas in a sentence she no longer knew how to finish. She kissed each forehead. In the master bedroom, the silence was colder than usual. Her heels echoed once across the hardwood floor. She sat on the edge of the bed and finally took them off, one at a time. She locked the bedroom door. Her knees hit the carpet by the bedside, not with drama but with exhaustion, and she folded, forward, over the mattress, into her own arms. No sound, just the muffled shake of a woman who broke without witnesses. Tears soaked into the sheets long past midnight. Her hands stayed clenched in the fabric until the sky outside shifted from black to deep, aching gray.
The morning sunlight streamed in through the windows like nothing had happened, like the night before hadn't shattered her. Ira stood at the kitchen counter, pouring cereal into bowls for the twins. Her hands moved automatically. Milk, spoons, juice cups, every detail exactly as it had been for years. Except now, her breath came in silent intervals, like she had to remind herself to do it. Her smile for the children was soft, but faint, ghostly. Kian came down the stairs later than usual, hair tousled, buttoning his shirt as he walked. No tie, no words of apology. He moved like a man inside a world untouched by consequence. He kissed Eli's head, ruffled Amelia's hair. They squealed like always, delighted by his brief attention. Then his eyes met Ira's. She handed him his coffee. He took it without a word. She waited until the twins were distracted. Then quietly, so quiet he almost didn't hear it. "Did you stay late last night?" Kian sipped. "Yeah, the Chang projections needed cleanup. Celine's team stayed too." Her gaze didn't leave his face. Her voice never lifted. "Did anything happen?" He blinked. "Like what?" Her lips parted slightly. "Between you and her?" Kian's pause was short, but it was a pause. He smiled, shrugged. "Of course not. Come on, Ira." Not a flinch, not a single sign of guilt. She studied his face for another second, then smiled. It was small, even gracious, and it cut through him more than anger ever could. The next morning he found a white envelope on the table. No note, no scene, just divorce papers, filed, signed. And on the top page, in her soft slanted handwriting, "You had your chance." Kian stood there for a long time, not moving, staring at the paper like it might evaporate if he blinked. He turned around, half expecting her to be behind him, watching, crying, pleading for some reaction, but she wasn't. She had already taken the kids to school and left his ring on the kitchen counter. Not peaceful, not tragic, just quiet. Iris sat on the edge of a borrowed couch, the upholstery rough under her palms, listening to the hum of the fridge in a kitchen half the size of her old closet. Boxes still still lined the walls. The kids' drawings were taped to the fridge, too low because they'd insisted on doing it themselves. The silence was different here, not heavy, just honest. She looked down at her hands, calloused from chores, fingers twitching. Her laptop sat open in front of her, screen glowing with a game engine she hadn't touched in 5 years. The moment she moved the mouse, the code lit up again. Lines of logic and creativity blending like a language she'd almost forgotten, but never unlearned. Ira exhaled, straightened her back, and opened a folder labeled Dreams, Old. Sketches, mechanics, level maps, a whole world that once belonged only to her. Time to try again. 2 weeks later, she walked through the sleek glass doors of Nova Studios. They were nothing like Kian's company. No chrome, no suits, no silence. The air buzzed with music, sketches pinned to walls, whiteboards crammed with ideas. Someone had drawn a unicorn with sunglasses over the reception desk. Interview for the design assistant, she told the front desk girl, who smiled like it was the best thing she'd heard all day. They walked her through winding halls, past shared workspaces, neon lights, and shelves stacked with board games. The air smelled like coffee and brain cells overheating. And then she froze. In the meeting room stood a man in a navy hoodie and glasses, typing one-handed on a tablet while sipping something from a ceramic skull mug. He looked up, paused, smiled slowly. "Wow," he said, standing. "Ira Lane, you used to crush me in every programming contest in senior year." She blinked. Noah? Noah Varon, that awkward, bookish kid who always sat in the back with headphones too big for his head. Except now he wasn't awkward, or a kid. "I run this place," he said, still smiling. "But don't worry, you're not disqualified just for being smarter than me in high school." Ira laughed, softly, but genuinely, for the first time in what felt like years. By the end of the interview, she was hired. "You're rusty," Noah said, reviewing her old game demo, "but the bones are better than most of what I've seen from trained grads. And your notes? Sharp, honest, you'll catch up. I'll work twice as hard." He sipped from his mug. "You don't have to. Just don't hold yourself back." Ira walked out into the afternoon sun, her job offer in her pocket, and felt something inside her unclench. She hadn't just survived. She was beginning. First day didn't go smoothly. Ira's hands shook slightly as she typed. The development tool interface had changed a lot in 5 years. Every time she clicked something, a different panel opened up, full of terms she hadn't used since her early 20s. She'd worn her hair up, blazer pressed, a notepad beside her keyboard with her to-do list written in perfect bullet points. At 10 a.m., she'd accidentally overwritten her test file. At 10:30, she had saved her draft over the wrong branch on version control. By noon, she was sitting in the break room, staring at her coffee cup like it might contain the answers to the universe. Noah appeared without a sound and placed a small square brownie on a napkin in front of her. "From the vending machine," he said. "Not toxic, probably." Ira blinked. "Is this a peace offering or a bribe?" "Neither," he said, sitting across from her. "It's a quiet reminder that version control disasters are part of the ritual. Everyone's done it. Me, Greg, our lead artist, once merged his whole project into the recycle bin." Ira exhaled, the tension cracking just enough to let out a laugh. "I feel ancient in there," she muttered, glancing out the window at the young, energetic team. "They're all moving so fast. I still type like a grandma." Noah tilted his head. "You've been out of the field for years. Of course you're rusty, but rust can be sanded off. Talent can't be faked." She studied him. His voice was always even, calm, like he didn't believe in dramatics, but there was no pity in his eyes. Just respect, a quiet kind of belief. "I'll stay late," she said. "You don't need to. I want to." Noah nodded once. "Then I'll order dinner." By Thursday, she'd started finding her rhythm. The code didn't intimidate her as much. Her lines ran cleaner. Playtesters started asking for her input. She joked with the team. She stopped bringing her notepad. And for the first time in years, Ira looked forward to mornings. At home, the twins adjusted too. Eli started drawing robot monsters for her new game. Amelia sat beside her in the evenings, asking to test the music levels. Noah would check in, sometimes at odd hours, sending her debugging notes, fixing merge conflicts without a word, replying with "done" at 2:14 a.m. She found herself smiling at his messages more than she meant to. One night, while walking her out, he paused by the elevator. "Your kids," he said carefully. "You talk about them like they're the best thing you've ever done." "They are," he nodded. "If you ever need help, pickups, drop-offs, anything, let me know, I don't mind." Ira blinked. "That's very generous. I just think," he said slowly, "it's easier to build something strong when you're not doing it all alone." The elevator dinged. Ira stepped in, watching him through the narrowing doors. Her heart was quieter now, not frozen, not breaking, just warm. First gift arrived on a Wednesday. Ira found it on the small welcome mat outside her apartment. A black velvet box with a silver clasp. Inside, a diamond bracelet, cold and glittering. No note. She stared at it for a long time, then closed the box, set it on the counter, and moved on with her evening. The second gift came 2 days later. Bouquet. No cardigan, just 30 roses, red and suffocating. Smell filled her entire kitchen. She didn't put them in water, just tossed them in the trash and washed her hands slowly, like rinsing off something sticky. That night, her phone buzzed. Kian, you okay? She stared at the screen, didn't reply. The next day, a voice message. I know I messed up. You don't have to shut me out. We're still family, Ira. She deleted it. Then he started showing up. At the twins' school pickup, at the grocery store, once outside Nova, leaning against his car like the past hadn't happened. You look busy, he said that day with a faint, rehearsed smile. Ira's response was calm, cold. Don't do this, Kian. I just want to talk. No, she said, walking past him. You want control. His face flickered, just for a second. The charm fractured. You're really gonna let some washed-up high school geek raise my kids? She stopped walking, turned. Her voice was quiet, deadly. Do not talk about Noah. Not to me, not in front of them. Not ever. He blinked, taken off guard. So, it is serious. It's mine, she said, whatever it becomes. The storm started with a message. 2 Nova leads. Subject, urgent. Build leak traced to Ira Lane's repo. This is a formal alert. A corrupted version of the prototype was uploaded under Ms. Lane's credentials. Malicious tampering suspected. A full audit is in progress. Ira read the email 3 times before she registered the blood draining from her hands. Her fingers hovered above the keyboard. What? A crowd of quiet whispers bloomed behind her. The office slowed like someone had pulled a brake. Noah wasn't there yet. The studio director had called a staff meeting for 11. It was only 10:15. By 10:17, her access to the build server was revoked. By 10:19, she was being asked, politely, to step into the conference room. The air was stale. She sat alone at the long table. Her laptop sat in front of her untouched. The HR manager kept clearing his throat. The design lead avoided eye contact. We're not accusing you, the HR rep said slowly, but protocol is protocol. It was your login. File pushed through your sandbox. I didn't push it, Ira said. Her voice was calm, but her heart pounded. I haven't even opened that build folder in 3 days. Then how do you explain this? The lead artist slid over a printed copy of the server log. She looked down. There it was, a perfect timestamp. Her username, her password hash. Ira opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. This wasn't a mistake. This was a setup. At 10:35, the conference room door opened. Noah walked in, and every head turned. His face was unreadable. Not angry, not surprised, just focused. I'll take over from here, he said, voice flat. The HR rep blinked. We just started. I said, Noah repeated. I'll take it from here. They left without arguing. Noah sat in the seat beside her, opened his laptop, said nothing. Ira stared at him. It's not me. I know, he replied instantly. Her throat tightened. They revoked my access. I restored it. A pause. They said the file came from my sandbox. It did. Ira's breath hitched. But, Noah continued, tilting his screen toward her, not from your terminal. Remote log. Traced it 15 minutes ago. It was routed through an internal relay. From a masked endpoint, he clicked. The screen changed. An IP address. A list of internal user IDs. Then, at the bottom, one name, Celine Winters. By noon, her access was fully reinstated. By 1 p.m., the staff meeting was rescheduled. By 1:05, Noah took the podium in the central workspace. The entire floor stood watching. Yesterday, he said, a leak compromised our early access prototype. Today, we traced that breach to an internal user, deliberately using someone else's credentials to frame them. No names, no drama, just fact. Celine, who had been invited as a consultant on Nova's marketing team, stood frozen near the exit. Her face was blank. Kian, who'd arrived late, looked from Noah to her, and for once, said nothing. Later that day in the elevator, Era turned to Noah.
You didn't have to go that hard, he shrugged. She played stupid games, won stupid consequences.
Ira snorted. You're starting to sound like Eli. Noah smiled. He's got a good head. The elevator dinged. As they stepped off, Noah added, quietly, I'll protect what's mine. He didn't say you, but he didn't have to. The article dropped on a Monday. Headline, Nova's rising star or corporate favoritism? Anonymous claims spark debate. No byline, no sources. But the subtext was clear. The accusations spread across developer forums like wildfire. Ira Lane, newly rehired, romantically involved with the studio director, receiving preferential treatment. Old photos were pulled, group lunches, shared jokes, one video of her laughing at something Noah had whispered. No context, just fuel. Noah found out before Ira did. He was sitting in his office, phone vibrating with alerts, when the studio's PR lead forwarded him the piece. His jaw locked.
He picked up his phone, called Ira, and said only, "Don't read anything, just come in, we'll handle it." But she had already seen it. She stood in her kitchen in silence, the article open on her phone. The twins were at the table, drawing quietly. Ira stared at the screen, lips pressed together, not in rage, but in clarity. She knew who sent it. Only one man had motive. Only one had once told her, "If you ever leave, no one will believe you built anything without me." She walked to the twins, kissed their heads, and handed them over to the sitter without a word. Then she drove to Nova. The confrontation wasn't planned. She arrived at the studio just as Kian did. He was waiting outside, again. This time, not smug, not smiling. There was fury in his eyes, and for once, no mask. "You want to be the victim so badly?" he snapped, stepping in her path. "Fine, but don't pretend like he didn't give you a shortcut." Ira didn't blink. "You're the one who gave me shortcuts, Kian, and every one of them came with a price." He scoffed. "So you're sleeping your way up again? Is that it?" People were watching now. Nova staff at the glass entrance froze. Someone held a coffee halfway to their lips. Noah stepped out of the building, eyes fixed on Kian like a sniper lining up a shot. "Say that again," he said, voice too soft. Kian turned. "I said she's not where she is because of talent." Noah didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He took 3 steps forward. "You think tearing her down makes you taller?" Kian sneered. "I built her." Noah stared at him, then looked at Ira. "You didn't build her," he said. "You delayed her." Silence fell. Then, applause, scattered, honest. Ira didn't cry. She didn't even smile. She just exhaled and walked past both of them. That night, Celine's name trended for all the wrong reasons. So did Kian's. Ira turned off her phone, then sat on the couch between Eli and Amelia and played a level of their favorite platformer with them. She lost on purpose. Then did the dishes. And later, when she lay in bed with the lights off, she didn't think of revenge or retribution. She just thought, it's finally over. 3 weeks after the public blowout, Ira stood at the front of Nova's internal showcase with a controller in her hand. The lights were dim. A crowd of developers, streamers, and potential partners watched from folding chairs and standing spots. Her heart raced, but not with fear, with something better, readiness. On the screen behind her, the game she'd built loaded up, Project Ember. A 2D side-scroller with crisp, bright art and sharp, witty writing. A single-mother protagonist who built weapons out of scrap tech and outsmarted her enemies through puzzles, not power. The audience laughed at the first line of dialogue, cheered when the prototype beat a mini-boss using a homemade EMP slingshot, and when the credits rolled with her name, Ira Lane, at the center of the screen, the applause didn't stop. Later that day, Noah met her on the rooftop with a sandwich in one hand and her favorite peach soda in the other. He didn't say anything, just handed her the bottle and nodded at the skyline like he wanted her to enjoy it first. Ira took a long sip, then, "Do I look different now?" Noah leaned against the rail, brow tilted. "You look like the same person you've always been," he said. "Only now, everyone else can see it too." At home, the twins had taped a "You Win" sign over the hallway mirror. Ellie started designing creatures for her next level. Amelia insisted on being the voice of the AI companion. Their drawings were pinned beside her concept sketches. Her laptop no longer sat dusty on a shelf. It was always open, always alive. Kian's texts stopped. Eventually, Celine's media presence disappeared within days of being blacklisted. Ira didn't ask questions, didn't gloat. She just lived. One quiet Thursday, just after school drop-off, she found Noah waiting by her door with coffee in one hand and a folded piece of paper in the other. She opened the door in her robe, surprised. "What's this?" "Something small," he said. "Just a few thoughts." She raised an eyebrow and opened the note. It was handwritten, short, clumsy, and careful. A vow. "I promise to make your tea the right way, even if it makes no scientific sense. I promise to read bedtime stories out loud, even when you fall asleep halfway through them. I promise not to fix your bugs unless you ask. And I promise to always believe in your code, even when you don't." She blinked. "I haven't said yes yet." "I'm not worried," he said, and kissed her temple like he already knew. 2 weeks later, beneath a maple tree in a sunlit garden filled with soft, rustling leaves, Ira stood barefoot in a cream silk dress, holding Noah's hands. The ceremony was small. No microphones, no photographers, just her, him, their circle. Eli and Amelia wore matching vests, each holding a ring box too seriously for how much they were trying not to laugh. The only thing louder than their giggling was the birds. Ira whispered her vows with her forehead pressed against Noah's. And when it was done, Amelia shouted, "You can kiss the bride now, dummy!" Before anyone else could say it, He did, and for the first time in her life, Ira felt like she belonged in her own story. Not as someone's beginning, not as someone's lesson, but as someone who chose her ending and made it beautiful. The museum exhibit was small but full. It was called Mothers of Mechanics, Women Who Changed the Game. Ira Lane had her own wall. It wasn't just about Project Ember anymore. Since that first breakout hit, she'd gone on to direct 2 more award-winning titles, each bolder than the last. One about intergenerational grief, another about a girl rebuilding a city after it collapses around her. The plaque beside her portrait read, "She writes stories the way she lived them. Clever, unrelenting, soft in all the ways that matter." Eli, now tall and half-teen, rolled his eyes in mock horror. They didn't even mention the slime boss. Disrespect. Amelia snapped a photo of the display on her phone. "We're sending this to Grandma. She'll cry in 7 seconds. Noah squeezed Ira's hand. "She'll cry in 4. Ira smiled, eyes flicking over the line of framed concept sketches, some of them drawn by her, some by Eli, a few clearly improved by Amelia's color commentary. She didn't need validation, but it was beautiful to see her name on a wall where no one could take it down. That night, they walked home through the city. The air was clear, the lights low. Ira carried a paper bag of cookies. Amelia skipped ahead. Eli grumbled about homework. Noah walked beside her, quiet and warm. As they passed a shop window, Ira caught her reflection. Laugh lines deeper, hair streaked with silver. She looked, at last, exactly like herself.